After it was all quiet. Now they took the bunch of people. We were about 20, maybe 22.
Can you describe? It became quiet suddenly.
All of a sudden, quiet, like everything was dead. The place where the people they went in, it just like on a command to be quiet. That way, everything was quiet over there.
It was like this after the arrival of every transport.
After the arrival of every transport was almost the same thing. Besides, there was going on screaming and hollering from those places where they went in, especially the women, because it was impossible to have your mind straight, because all the hollering was in your ears and in your mind. But, like I said, in 1 second, on 1 minute, everything was quiet. Think, everything disappeared. At that time, we start working in that place which they call Treblinka. And still, I myself, I couldn't believe it. Not one from our transport believed what had happened over there on the other side of the gate where the people went in, or they disappeared, or everything got quiet down. But in minute we find out, when we start to ask the people which they worked before us, what had happened with them. They said, what do you mean what had happened? Don't you know that? I said, what we know? They poisoned themselves, we dragged them out. We dragged them out to a place was called the Lazaret. Lazaret actually means a hospital, or that means a place where people get to be healed, to be nursed, or to have a doctor. But over there, the place, the Lazaret, they called because they took all the people in to be burned. We throw those corpses into a big place where there was a fire burning, and we burned them. There was some men of them wearing white dresses with a band around, looking like the doctors. But there were no doctors, there were nobody. And we went to get some coffee. We didn't have any coffee either. We couldn't have it, because the smell at night of the burning corpses from that place, so-called the Lazaret, where the wind come to our side, and the burning bodies, the burning flesh, was in our nose, it was in our part, it was in our body. It was impossible to touch anything. They took us to work at the sortering commander.
A new transport arrived.
And I think we were working until about 9 o'clock, 9:30. All of a sudden, there was a whistle. Everything stopped. Arrived a new train with people. We didn't go there because there was not allowed to go from this place where we worked on the Sortierungscommand. To go to the place where the people come in, there was not allowed for those people that were wearing the red band or the blue band. But we saw some of them which they took out, like they took us out to take away the clothes. We were almost, I would say, the first day, the lucky one, because most of the transports which they went in to with the clothes, to remove the clothes from that big place, After that, they cleaned up the whole place. They went into the gas chamber and they gassed them like with the other one. And that was how we worked here, a certain part. A certain part came, they find out that I was a barber, and they asked me to do some kind of job for the capo, for the Jewish commander who was over there. Until at one day we had a order to get together a certain amount of barbers and to go cut the hair of the woman. They took us up to the place where we never went over there. No one from the Treblinka, where we were at our place, ever went across that big door going into, at that time, which we knew already was the gas chamber. They took us over there and we cut the woman's hair. And that was another thing which was horrible, unbelievable. They took in the woman, they undressed themselves, and we supposed to do a job like they don't know they're going into the gas chamber. They don't know they are in the gas chamber. They know there is a little place so-called a barber shop, which they will cut their hair. After they will get a shower, and everything will be finished, and they will be back to work. But
Bomba bitieren.
I'm not talking about the revolt of Treblinka. Now, I want to know, do you know, exactly, how many people succeeded to escape Treblinka during the time
when
that the camp was in action?
I wouldn't say that I know, but I know a lot of people try to escape. And a lot of people did not succeed, which means they got killed in Treblinka, some of them by the wire, some of them on the gates, and a lot of them outside, because outside Treblinka was surrendered by a camp from the Ukrainian. The Ukrainian had their camp over there, and they had their watchtowers over there. But I would say there is a number of people which they escaped before the revolt of it.
How many?
I would say between about 15, 18 of them.
Because this is not known.
It is not known, but I know a number of people which they escaped.
But how did the idea to escape came to you? On when?
The idea of escaping from Treblinka, everyone in Treblinka had the same idea to escape. Because over there we know for sure that we're going to be dead. And on the outside there is something like a maybe we could be safe. And groups started to organize themselves. Like I had also a group.
You were not
of
alone.
people, not alone, a group of people. We were about 8 or 10 together, and we had the same idea about escaping from Treblinka. But escaping from Treblinka, there was a lot of things. First thing, you gotta have money, a lot of money. Because when you get on the outside, the Polish people, they will do everything for money. But they will not do anything to save you just because you are Jew or you are a nice man. What we did is, we tried to get as much money as we could from the people they arrived from the transport. And a lot of people, they took their belonging with them. They had with them the most what they could get. And we find in the clothes some money, some diamonds,
When you say that,
and some gold. When we are working in the Treblinka over there, where we selected the clothes, like suits, shoes. A lot of people had their money in the shoes, and we tried to get that money, to hide the money that the Germans, not only the Germans, but even the Jewish people, they should know. Because to let know anybody that you're gonna escape, it was horrible. It happened at the time when I was there. They caught some people escaping, and they brought them back as far as from Alkeen. They brought them back as far, even farther, and they brought them into the camp, and they hanged them by the legs. Some of them I remember just like now, they were hanging for hours and hours until we begged the German they should kill them. And they went over before the day ended and they killed them. Or their head was swollen up, the whole thing from the inside went to their head. And that's why we were afraid to even to mention to the closest one, where our brother didn't tell his brother that he is trying to escape, or a son didn't tell his father. Because if the father will know that the son has a plan to escape, and they will try to get out from his father, it could be that the father will tell the German that my son is trying to escape. And that was the way how we tried to escape. We saved, like I mentioned before, money. We tried to get some clothes because it was winter time.
How long did you stay in Treblinka?
Oh, I stayed almost 3 months in Treblinka.
And you escaped after 3 months?
After 3 months, I escaped from
How
there.
did you do it?
Oh, well, I did it. We were a group of people. The group divided in 3 parts. We were a group of 10 people. We divided in 3 parts. 3 of them, they're supposed to go out, let's say, on Thursday, 3 of them on Sunday, and 3 of them on the following Tuesday. I was from the second group, and I supposed to leave on a Saturday. I supposed to escape on a Saturday. And the escaping wasn't simple. I can say about mine escaping. My escaping was like that. We supposed to hide ourselves in clothes, in big bunch of clothes in the barrack. There was one barrack. We put some clothes, which the clothes supposed to go to Germany by trains. And we were hiding, 3 of us. Myself, there was a cousin of mine by the name of Kaufmann, and there was a friend of mine by the name of Perkowitz. After the appeal, the work was over around 6 o'clock. Before that, 2 hours before, we disappeared. We hid in the clothes inside. And we were laying down for about 2 hours until the people they finished their job working. And this was a big dangerous thing to do, because if a bundle of clothes moved from the place, then we choked. At the same place where we were hiding in the time when I worked there, we took out over 30 people choked, because the people that tried to escape, or they couldn't, the bundle moved, and they had no air to breathe, and they choked to death.
But it was a big heap of clothes.
It was a big, yes. It was a big place where the clothes were in.
And you went very
We
deep
were,
inside?
of course, we were very deep inside, because at night, after the appeal, the Ukrainian went with the bagnets and to cut the through, or somebody is not hidden in the clothes. And they were on top of us too. And we heard them. After they left, the appeal was finished 6 o'clock. At 8:30, one of us went out to look how it is. One went out by the name of Berkerich. He went out at the place at the barrack, walked around, nobody was there. He signaled us that we should come out. We went out, and the only place to escape from Treblinka, the most safest place, was through the Lazaret, because otherwise you had about 4 or 5 different gates to go around, where it was very dangerous because there was barbed wires, and to go to that through, it was almost impossible. Coming out from the barrack, we didn't see anybody. What all we saw is a huge, very big place of burning papers, burning clothes, and burning people. And through that place we had to go through to go to that fence, to that wire fence, which was only one fence to go through.
You mean you went through the...
through that fire, through
the ditch of the...
through that ditch,
Lazaret.
yes. Because we took some on the top of us, some clothes that we shouldn't get burned on top of us, and we just went through.
You went in the
Like
ditch
fire,
of the Lazaret?
like a fire to the Lazaret. And we went there through. One of us, in the second one, and the third one. When we came in to the fence, to that barbed fence, we put some clothes on the top of it, and we went through that fence, one on top of the other. It just happened Saturday night that the Ukrainian people were all drunk, but nobody was in the watchtower. There was no one around. When we came on the other side, we didn't see anyone. We tried to run and run. We ran for hours. There was on winter time. We came out about, took us by a half hour from the...
It was cold?
Cold, ice cold was.
There was snow?
It wasn't snow, but it was very cold at that time. When we went outside, it took us about a half hour from the barrack to the fences and through. We were running from about 9 o'clock until about 5:30 in the morning. About 5:30 in the morning,